How's everyone's weekend been? Mine has been absolute, well, we got somewhere Sunday, but Saturday felt like I wasted it. What I'm trying to do here is get a live setup going. There's an EMOM in Norwich on Thursday night. And I foolishly thought, my latest release, Labyrinth 11, I'll try and recreate some of that with a few bits of live synths and a little bit of sequencing, so all my guitar and bass tracking playback from the laptop. Simple, right? Simple. So what we've got here is we've got the Volca keys. Great. We've got the SH01A. Lovely stuff. And we've got the good old Monologue from Korg here, which I've pimped out with these big fat knobs. Now, I spent a lot of time getting the SH01A working over USB. So this will do MIDI and audio over USB, which is very cool, right? So that makes this a sound card as well as being a nice little synth. But you have to install a driver. And I installed the driver for Monterey. That didn't work. So then I rolled back to the previous version, got that working. But it's kind of like, sort of, it was working, and then you sort of go out of Reaper, do something else, and you come back to Reaper and suddenly it's gone again. So it's like, okay, close Reaper, reopen it. Ah, there it is. So it does work. I've had it working both with audio and with MIDI over USB. It does work. But it's like, oh man, I don't want to rely on that in a live situation. It just randomly stops working. So that was a faff. The Volca keys wasn't too bad, although suddenly everything became really noisy. And I think that's because I was trying to power stuff. Now I think the noise was actually coming from the SH01A, so I was trying to power it from the Mac, because this will take power from USB. So I've solved that by powering the SH01A with a little portable power pack, which is cool. But yeah, so I wasted a load of time trying to get the USB connection of the SH01A to work. And it's like, is it the Mac's fault? Is it the cable? Is it Roland? Is it just, Roland can't test every flipping combination of operating system, hardware, software. So that was frustrating. I then spent a load of time trying to get USB, MIDI over USB of my Blofeld to work, and gave up. Literally just gave up trying to get that working over USB. Apparently, you read the manual, it can do it. And there's like help pages that say if you do this, if you still can't do it, just turn it on and off again 5 times in a row. That didn't work. So I've given up using the Blofeld over USB. It does have a MIDI connection though, so it's fine. I can use it, but for the live situation, not really. Eventually got the Korg Monologue out. Didn't even waste any time trying to get this working over USB. It's probably fine. Long story short, MIDI is the way to go. Oh, another thing to say is the SH01A has CV and gate out. So I thought, that's cool, because I can have MIDI in to the SH01A and then send a gate and a CV out to, say, my little Eurorack module or thing, Eurorack synth. That's cool. But the problem with that is it only just sort of copies what the channel is. So if you come in, say, play the synth on channel 2, it just sends whatever's coming in channel 2, it just sends it directly out again on the CV and gate, which is not really what you want to do. So you're in that situation where I want my Roland to do, like, say, a bass, and my modular to do a lead. Well, I can't really do that, right? Because I can set the bass to be like on channel 2, or this whole synth to be on channel 2. But then that channel 2 just goes straight out to the CV and gate. So I could thicken the synth up, right? I could thicken the synth up with like a Eurorack thing, but I can't have 2 different lines. So that was another sort of 20 minutes figuring that out, wasted. Yeah, long story short, I have got something working. I've got my old MIDI Man little module here. The Mac absolutely recognised that first time, plugged it in, jobs are good in, fantastic. But I was like, for this kind of stuff, live stuff in particular, I'm just going to rely on MIDI, good old-fashioned MIDI, just like we've been doing for the past 20 years. MIDI, 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 MIDI. That is the way to go. So I've bought one of these. This is the U6 MIDI Pro from CME. You might have seen CME's MIDI controllers. I remember they came out with some really nice controllers all back sort of 10 years ago now. And although I don't see them around so much, they're obviously still in the game. So it's a small plastic box, 3 MIDI ins, 3 MIDI outs, and a USB connectivity. What could be simpler? And it's shipped in a nice little box. There's even a quick start manual in there, and we get a USB cable. Okay, so 3 synths, 3 outputs. Let's try this. Oh, I should, also the SH01A, which does have MIDI out. I think operationally that is working. There's also MIDI through, so I can come in, like I can send it MIDI on 2 channels and have one channel for like the synth. So say the synth is set to channel 2. I can send channel 2 in, plays it, great. I can also send it in like channel 7, and then if I think in this case the keys is coming from the MIDI out, and then if the keys at channel 7, that will play that. So I can get away with just 2 outs, but like this was like £40. Gives me three MIDI outputs over USB. Let's try and wire it in. Let's see if it works. Sorry, this is a bit long and rambling, but it was just it was such a frustrating weekend. Just plugged in this guy. As you can see, it's all lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm just looking on my Mac and I can see absolutely it says MIDI USB 2.1 hub U8 MIDI Pro. That sounds promising. Reaper. MIDI devices. Look at that. CME Pro, U6 MIDI Pro. Port 1, port 2, port 3. It's all disabled, but that's fine. What I don't know is does it go 1, 2, 3 left to right, or 1, 2, 3 right to left? Doesn't say. I might get my marker pen out and just add it in. Okay, I'm going to set up some hardware. Let's test this. But this is looking much more hopeful compared to where I was Saturday morning. So you know when you get a bit of kit and it works straight out of the box, without even reading the instructions, plug it in, go. The U6 MIDI Pro is one of those devices. It is one of those devices. So literally the first output goes to the monologue. Obviously we know what channel this is on. This is on channel 6. Great. The SH01A. Yep, love that. Finally, the Volca keys. That's really loud. Okay, there we go. So I won't call it a review. This is the U6 MIDI Pro. It works straight out of the box. It couldn't be simpler. I've not tested the MIDI in, so if you're looking for a really cheap MIDI solution, maybe take a look at that. Not sponsored, by the way. I bought this. They're about 40 quid. So that's a MacBook Air refurbished unit. It's quite cheap. Running Monterey. Obviously your setup might be different, but in my hands, work straight out of the box. We like these kind of tools. From now on, no more messing with USB, especially, well, I mean, in terms of a live setup. I'd say the Yamahas were fine. The Yamaha Reface range, they worked like straight away. Yamaha sorted out their drivers. Also, Behringer tends to be like fine. You plug one of their synths in, poof, yeah, it's grand. I mean, you do have to install their like software, but I've found generally that's fine. Roland, anyway, I need to practice.